Good morning, good evening, viewers. Marianne from Revealing Light Tarot. Thank you for joining me today. It is a beautiful sunny morning here in Australia. As some of you know, one of our states has gone into complete lockdown again, particularly the city of Melbourne, because there has been a resurgence, and unfortunately the CV numbers in Melbourne are higher now than what they were at the beginning of the pandemic. So this just demonstrates that, it is just so difficult to get a hold on this pandemic. Australia was doing quite well. We were moving into opening up our economy, and now we've had this setback. It's a very difficult time for us all, and I know that what is going on in the US and of course the UK now easing, and Europe easing restrictions. What are we likely to see there? I think I will do a separate reading on CV. Today I want to answer viewers' questions, and I'll work through a list. This is where the list stands now, though I do get sidetracked and I don't always get to all the questions, but these are some of the questions that you have asked me. Will Barr answer the subpoenas, the House subpoenas? I think it's later on this month. He's been he's been invited to go before the House. Will he answer any subpoena? And what would happen if he didn't? Why is he protecting Trump? I want to dig down a little bit there. What is his fate? So this is kind of like a Barr reading, but I've also had many questions around Tammy Duckworth, who is hitting the headlines at the moment for fighting the good fight. She is being considered as a potential vice president for Joe Biden. I feel Biden's campaign is going extremely well. I do feel the Democratic Party is taking the view that if they allow Trump to expose himself, it's almost like he's doing their own campaigning for him. So it's like giving someone enough rope, so to speak. Now, we'll look at whether Tammy Duckworth is going to be the VP. Before I start getting read on this, read on that, if you scroll back through my readings, I've done all the main contenders that I know of. This could be somebody else that I don't know of, and I just take it as Spirit gives it to me, and I go with the flow. So this isn't a VP reading. This is just answering the question, will Tammy Duckworth be the VP? We'll see what the cards say. I want to also look at the question of bounties. I've done readings on that before. Did Trump talk to Putin about the bounties and what sort of strategy he should bring forward? I have read on the bounties in the past, Russian bounties on US troops, and indeed UK troops, NATO troops generally. I would, put Australia in here as well, has a vested interest. And let's see what we draw there. And then we'll get, if I've got time, because this is going to be a long reading, will Trump claim China has interfered in the election come November, and will he accept election results? If we get to all of those, fine. If we don't, I'll break it up and I'll come back to those questions in a part two. Whether that's today or tomorrow or the next day is a question, but we'll see what sort of time I have got today. The Fool has just jumped out. I'm using my Light Seer Tarot, which is a nice card. It's talking about new starts, the ability to begin again, new cycles. So keep that firmly in your mind. When I did a little bit of meditation before I opened up for this reading on Barr, I asked Spirit directly, what's going to happen to Barr? And I was given the knowledge that Barr, or the words, Barr will go the same way that all cowards go. And that is to slink away. Indeed, the clairvoyant images I got was him clearing out his office. Desk was being dismantled and people were taking things out of his office. I do feel that he's probably in over his head now, and he is trying to corrupt the evidence trail. In other words, when I say corrupt the evidence trail, he's, doing whatever he can to not incriminate himself in any of these decisions if there are investigations in the future. Okay, so let's have a look. So will Barr, let's just start, will Barr appear before the House at the end of this month or over the next couple of months? Will Barr answer the Democratic Party's calls and appear to give evidence before the court around his sacking of Berman? Let's have a look. My feeling is he's going to wiggle and not try and do it. He's already done that. I feel he's going to keep that up. Will Barr appear before the House to answer questions from the Democratic Party and the relevant committees? Will Barr appear before the House? So one of the things that could happen is they throw him a lifeline and he goes to the Senate, but he'd still have to face some fairly heavy questioning there. I've got the Three of Cups. Now this card sometimes, is circles of support, meaning that they are again gathering themselves around Barr and Trump to try and protect them. That's one interpretation. Let's have a look at what's crossing him. The Ace of Pentacles, so new starts. I feel that is telling me that even though the Three of Cups might be considered a yes card, the Ace of Pentacles, another strong yes card, is crossing it. So I do feel he is trying now to get almost like people to surround him in various ways so that he won't have to go before Congress. The foundation of the reading is the High Priestess, and of course this High Priestess doesn't have her eyes open. She's not revealing anything. It's not looking good. Clairvoyantly, I heard he's probably not going to go. The Ten of Wands, though, packing one's bags and going. Now, is this telling me Barr is going to go? I don't know. It does tell me that he's carrying a lot of water for this president, and it's becoming increasingly difficult to do. Let's have a look at what's in the sky. The Two of Swords. Yeah, he does have a decision to make. He's at a crossroads, and I do feel what is he wanting to decide? Is it to stay or go even? I've always felt that he would resign before he became impeached. There have been calls to impeach Barr, and they're growing louder and louder. He's at the crossroads. That's what I'm feeling, and he has a decision to make. It's getting hot in the kitchen for him. The Nine of Pentacles in the immediate future. This is around perceived independence and also codependence in a way, or it can. The more negative aspect of this card is codependence upon someone. Who is he codependent upon? Of course, Trump and indeed the Republican Party, or those that he answers to. Let's have a look at the here and now. Of course, he's walking a very fine line. Will he go before the House? What is the environment around him? You know what he's really worried about? Because this is my card for a change of government, for a Biden government and whoever Biden surrounds himself with. Can you imagine what might be uncovered once there is a change of government, with the extent of corruption in the current Trump government regime? This is what's challenging him. Even though he said, now that's interesting, because the words I got was like, all cowards, he'll slink away or try and slink away. His mind is on a Trump defeat and what that will mean for him. And this could be why I got those clairvoyant images of him trying to, all those bags of evidence, taking them away, paperwork, any kind of paper trail, conversations. You remember Barr flew all over the world trying to carry Trump's water, including to Australia. one would wonder what sort of conversations were had there. So we have the Six of Pentacles, loans and debts. So in the hopes and fears, I've always felt Barr is indebted to somebody or something, and that's why he's done what he's done. The outcome, the Queen of Cups, a revelation, but this is an emotional energy here. This person's, sitting in water up to their waist. This is talking about a revelation coming forward. He has a decision to make, and we've got a revelation. We have the Knight of Pentacles. This is the card. He's not on his horse. He's walking. It's a slow-moving energy. It can be somebody that works for somebody else. Something's going to come out, I think, about Barr, but we also have, who is he working for? Who is he really working for? Why has he done what he's done? We do have the Four of Swords retreat. So I feel, I'll go back to my original prediction, we'll draw a clarifier on that Queen of Cups. I feel he could actually, because before he faces judgment, now I'm not saying he's going to resign straight away, but his mind is on the election, is on change of government and where that leaves him. And we've got the Judgment card, something coming to an inevitable ending, and that is his commitment here. Now, remember the Fool jumped out of the reading. New starts, and we've got the Five of Swords, abuse of power. You can see those crows making another entrance here in the Tower. My feeling is before he faces justice and has to answer for his actions, he will resign. He's thinking about it right now. So let's take this Two of Swords. Oh dear, it's getting hot in the kitchen here. He understands there is change in the wind, and he won't have the protection that he has now under a different government. Let's take the Two of Swords and see what all of that is about. I've always felt he doesn't just answer to Trump. He answers to a larger group of moneyed elite wanting to retain power and control. So he is a part of what I would say as a dying sort of energy, a very corrupt and dying energy. Let's have a look at. Let's have a look at this Two of Swords. Two of Swords. Sometimes we want to control things. We want to, immediately see a result or a goal come to fruition. And sometimes Spirit teaches us patience. The same thing is we're being taught with the pandemic. Just when we think we're getting on top of it, we find we're not. We are being told repeatedly, it's like, you're not allowed to go. You're not allowed to pass. You're not allowed to move forward until you get the lesson, until you change, basically. So let's have a look at this Two of Swords. Show me this Two of Swords, please. Show me this Two of Swords. Show me the Two of Swords. So we have the Seven of Pentacles reviewing his options, what he thought he might do, what he thought would come to pass hasn't, and that would gel very strongly with looking forward to a probable Trump election loss. Nine of Wands, yeah, he feels he's gone too far. This is somebody starting to put barriers up, not wanting to take any further risks. And justice, yeah, he's worried that the scales of justice might very well turn for him. What's at the base of the pack? The Empress. He's worried about information coming out around Trump's involvement, relationship with Russia. I feel he's worried about the Supreme Court rulings, which I think are around July the 10th, and we have death and rebirth here. Endings. Okay. It's entirely possible Barr will resign before the election. Okay. There will come a point when the Republicans decide to abandon this president. He is worried about information coming out about Trump's ties with Russia. question could be asked. Does Barr have ties to Russia? Let's have a look at that. Does William Barr? I know I don't get to all my questions. Okay, last question on Barr at 14 minutes in. Okay, so does Barr have ties to Russia? Does Barr have ties to Russia? Does Barr have ties to Russia? You know, one way or another, they are all tied to Russia. Does Barr have ties to Russia? So this is like there's a word for it, a utility in economic terms. It is something that, I don't want to turn into an economist on you, but they all know of Trump's ties to Russia, but Russia's agenda fitted their own. Okay, the Eight of Cups, we've got again, he understands this loss and walking away from something, a losing battle, basically, something that's no longer working for him. And we've got this debt here. Does he have ties to Russia? I felt there is something there beyond just, I mean, he probably thinks Trump's a buffoon as well. There's something there. He doesn't want to tie his fate to Trump when Trump loses the election. He's very, very concerned. But there is money coming into his hands. So he's not only in debt to somebody, but I feel that there is a payoff for him. But it's not enough now. Okay, so it's entirely possible, and here's the Knight of Pentacles again. He's weighing up his options. It's entirely possible he will go. Temperance and the Queen of Cups and the Three of Swords, yeah. He's worried about revelations coming out on Trump and where that leaves him. He's got to make a choice. He does have to make a choice because he understands that the Democratic Party is likely to take power and he's worried about where that leaves him. Okay, let's move to, it'd be very worthwhile just to look at his fate. Maybe one or two cards. Barr's fate. Okay, what's Barr's eventual fate? Because the Justice card leapt out when I first picked this deck up. What is Barr's fate? What is Barr's fate? Will he face... If I say will he face justice, justice comes in many forms. It may not be the form that we think it is, but it's karmic consequences nevertheless. So, show me what will happen to... What is William Barr's fate? Show me William Barr's fate. The Knight of Swords, a harsh truth will pursue him. There are crows again in this card. If you remember, he got the Two of Swords. He has a decision to make. And the Eight of Wands, lots and lots and lots coming at him. We'll draw one more card. The Queen of Cups. Here she is. He's worried about what will come out. No wonder he's clearing his decks and getting rid of things. Yeah. They will move. I feel calls to impeach him will grow stronger. And it's likely, yeah, there's our Justice card. So we do have the Knight of Wands, which is my card for a movement against him. Then we have the Six of Wands, victorious. That movement will be victorious. There is strength and fortitude and in the government, whether that's now or whether that's post-Trump. And there is justice here for Barr. Why? Because he was codependent, dependent, facilitating Trump's aims, and he will pay for that. He knows it. The question is, will he stick around or will he get out before the going gets too tough? And my feeling is he could quite easily go before the election. All right, let's go to Tammy Duckworth. The question on Senator Tammy Duckworth. Decorated veteran, I think the first senator to give birth while she was in office there. She is, I think, a double amputee, and is really taking Trump on over this whole, changing the names of Confederate associated names within the military and not flying those flags, banning that Confederate flag. She is putting it all on the line there. She's a fighter. Now, when I asked what Joe Biden might be looking for, I feel he's looking for a fighter. All of those candidates mentioned so far in my previous readings, they're all fighters. Okay, so Tammy Duckworth. Tammy Duckworth, will she be the VP, the Vice President? Will Tammy Duckworth be the Vice President? Vice President. 9 of Swords. We've got some anxiety here. Yeah, crossed by the 7 of Pentacles, which is review. The 8 of Pentacles. So, this is hard work, getting down to the task. That's at the foundation of the reading. We do have the Chariot in the past. I feel that she's gone from an outsider to an insider in this, if you want to call it a race. The 6 of Cups, higher selves, going back to the past. Loyalty. That's why, because of her loyalty, and which she has displayed so visibly, loyalty to her country. The Hermit card, review. She's under active consideration at the moment. We've got the 5 of Swords here, which is, again, that strategy of being pushed around, pushed out. The Emperor, control. Okay, so it's bringing in Trump into this reading. Let's see what the 5 of Pentacles. Yeah, that's kind of like being sidelined. Judgment card. Endings and new beginnings. Endings and new beginnings. The 5 of Cups. Look, these cards are not showing me, but the 3 of Cups here is circles of support. I'm not getting a strong pull to Duckworth, Senator Duckworth being the VP. Now, before you start to go, well, read on this, read on that one, I don't think this, I don't think that, go back to all my previous readings and you will see where what the cards have been saying about a VP. All right, let's move on to the bounties. Trump and Putin putting bounties on American troops. Again, go back to my fuller reading on that. I want to see if he has spoken. He had many conversations, supposedly secret conversations with Putin. We wouldn't know what he's saying to Putin when this story broke. They are more focused on the leaks. They briefed Republicans. They didn't brief the Democratic Party. The Democrats in the House. I want to see whether did Trump talk to Putin about these bounties. So what I'm getting is the image of burying, two kind of, what are they? They're like platypuses. You know how well, I don't know if you know of platypuses, but they build dams across things and try and hold things back. And they use lots and lots of twigs and logs, and they work very hard to bury something. I get the impression, I've got two platypuses diving very deep to not only bury something, but to hold secret conversations. So, did Trump talk to Putin about these bounties and what he should do? Yeah. So how he should retreat away from the headlines. That's what I'm feeling. Did Trump talk to Putin about the bounties and what he should do about the headlines? Page of Cups. So he talked to him about the leak. Who leaked it? Who was the leaker? How to manage the leaks? How to stop the leaks? Remember, Putin is a former KGB operative. He knows how to do this. That's what he is talking to Trump about. What is crossing this? The 7 of Wands, defending himself. And this is what I feel they spoke about. They spoke about what would be how to dam up the leaks and how to defend himself against it. The Three of Cups. So, yeah. Look, I just don't feel that there has been enough action from the Democratic Party on this. This should have been a matter of, I don't know, but it shouldn't have been allowed to slide. If it has been allowed to slide, this is cover up. So, what they spoke about a strategy to get the Republicans in again on this cover up. Now, this came up for Barr as well. Why is Trump getting away? Because those around him are covering up for him. What a disgusting, sorry, but it's just, it's very frustrating. The Six of Swords, moving out of troubled waters. I asked what he spoke about. The Nine of Swords, we've got high anxiety. This card for Senator Duckworth does come into the frame here in terms of her anxiety about what is going on in America at the moment, particularly this issue. Okay, the Nine of Wands, again, boundaries, putting boundaries up. Of what are these boundaries? Sitting next to the Seven of Wands, protection. Loans and debts, this always comes up whenever I speak. You owe me. Why am I doing this? Because you owe me. The environment around the Eight of Wands. Now, as I said, the Supreme Court is coming into the frame and potentially information coming out about Trump, Russia. Okay, and what he owes, what sort of debts, who his debts, his financial debts are. The Queen of Pentacles in the hopes and fears. This is national security. Well, it's always been, Queen of Pentacles talks to me about national security and it talks to me about the economy. The Ace of Wands. Yes, he did. And this is a plan or a project. The Ten of Swords. How to avoid downfall. Ten of Swords is endings. And the Queen of Wands, how to counteract democratic attacks. So I feel, of course, the Two of Cups is the baseline energy. Of course, Russia and Russia's needs and Russia's agenda and Russia's what's good for Russia is on the at the base of the deck. But we also have the Five of Cups, a loss. And the thoughts are going to not just the Supreme Court, but the election as well. With the King of Wands there, lawmakers, how to get lawmakers on side, the Judgment card, karma and the world. So this is moving toward an ending of this cycle, this current cycle and this current situation. So, from that reading, he did speak to Putin about it. It was very much clandestine communication. However they've been communicating, it was more of that. The two things that stood out in this reading for me is they talked about how to identify, how to stop the leaks, the whistleblowers, and also how to defend oneself and how to get those Republicans, members of Congress, to cover for Trump. That's where we're at with this. Okay, so 28 minutes. Let's just ask. Yeah, no, that's enough, I think. That's enough for today. I'm just going to stick with Russia for one more question, though. Is Putin worried about what will happen if the turnout in November is massively against Trump and Trump loses the election? Is Putin worried about what will happen if Trump loses the election? Is Putin worried about what will happen if Trump loses the election? I'm just getting the image of someone changing a huge wheel. Changing a wheel. Okay, so is Putin worried about what will happen if Trump loses the election. About what a new government might do with Russia. I think what that's telling me is he might throw Trump under a bus. Strength and endurance and fortitude is a signifier card. What's crossing that? The Hanged Man. No progress. Interesting. Strength is being limited. Of course. His agenda would stop. His strength would stop. Okay, let's have a look at what is at the foundation of the reading. Total illumination. This is the kind of colours and imagery I saw with him trying to change that wheel. He was caught up in that illumination. In the past, the Nine of Pentacles, independence or a lack of, or codependence, and this is luxury and money. So he has a lot to lose. The Ace of Cups, the change of sentiment, the emotion, what might happen when America wants to come after him. The Seven of Wands, having to defend himself. These cards are very interesting. What's in the here and now? He wants victory. He wants victory. That's the winning card. And the dirty trickster is in the environment. So his mind is on how to interfere with your November election. He worries about a loss and retreat. This is the card of retreat. He fears having to retreat. What's in the outcome? Three of Wands, trade, commerce, Trump's shadow foreign policy, waiting for his ship to come in. Loans and debts. This speaks to directly to their relationship, and the secrets here with the Moon card. What is below the surface? One more card. The Four of Pentacles. He's very insecure, and he's also insecure about money loss. There would be sanctions, big sanctions on Russia, and that's what he's worried about. So he's got a lot to lose in November. Two of Wands, waiting. And we've got somebody being shut out. This is the energies that are occurring now. Big disappointment for him with that Four of Cups. The Three of Pentacles, trying to influence, working within the teams, trying to dark money in politics, trying to influence things. But we have new starts and we have the Eight of Cups. So, yeah, he's trying to hold back, what could be coming for him. These cards here talk about what he's trying to hide. But he's not going to be able to do that. Not at this point. Let's have a clarification on that three. He's worried about that. That's Trump's shadow foreign policy and his debt to Putin being revealed. The Moon also is a card of illumination. It is the shadow side of things being illuminated. So let's have a look. Show me this Moon. Show me this Moon, Spirit. What is this Moon doing here? Will these secrets be revealed? I think that's a yes. That's my card for Russia. And the Page of Swords, yes, the spy in the camp. And cards are good today. And the Three of Swords, loss, heartbreak, betrayal. He's trying to see how he can change that wheel. He's walking a tightrope. He's very aware that there could be a change of government. But he's more worried right now about Trump's financials being known and that relationship with Russia being revealed. All right, that's the reading for today. Thank you for tuning in. I didn't get to China trying to interfere, the claim that Trump might do. I'll do that in another reading. I'll also look at coronavirus again as well and see whether there will be. We'll check in on the vaccine and the second wave. All right, thank you for tuning in.